This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in, broadcasting live here from the Culver studio. We are the Meltdown with you on another Monday. So happy to be here with you. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button for us and be subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a thing. Hit that little notification bell and it'll let you know every single time we go live here with this lovely little project that we call the Meltdown, talking pop culture, entertainment, lifestyle, fashion at certain points. Thanks to our good friend E.G., who's here in the studio. E.G., how are you?
I'm good, and I'm happy for our first Monday of the new year. Glad everyone is with us. Hopefully, you're off to a good start, but it's fine. It
Yep.
feels really refreshing.
It does. I'm excited to do today's show, and I'm excited that Tyler Lionel Johns is here with us to do said show. Tyler, how are you, man?
I'm good, Tim. How have you been?
You know what? I'm fantastic, and I'm pretty pumped up to get into not only an award show that I watched most of last night. I'll explain maybe why we didn't get a chance to see. I didn't get a chance to see the whole thing in its entirety. We'll get to that, but I visited an arcade this past weekend, which was a lot of
No
fun.
way.
Yeah, brought back some of those classic vibes of competition. I'm getting ready tonight, EG, for poker night. I'm in a competitive spirit.
Oh, I am too. I've been reading some books, some literature.
You feel like it's going to help or you feel like it's going to hurt your game? Because a
Well,
lot of your game is gut.
yeah, and I was thinking about that this morning actually, because I arose from my slumber to my poker books on my nightstand.
Is this Charles Dickens?
Yes, I did channel Kate Middleton today with my outfit, so a little English flair. With that being said,
I said we'd talk fashion here, and I didn't lie to you. Because here we are talking fashion. I would never guess Kate Middleton.
Oh, really?
Well,
Maybe Cameron Diaz on the holiday?
um,
Barber jacket. I mean, it's a British staple.
yeah, I'm taking your word for it. I just don't know any of this information that you're giving me.
No,
That's
that's
all
okay.
I'm saying.
With that being said, I rose from my slumber and saw my poker literature on my nightstand, and I had this feeling of, oh gosh, I hope I don't overthink this now. Now that I have consumed this strategy and
Mhm.
all of this very pertinent information.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to think about it too much.
If I can give some advice as
Please
a
do.
fellow Meltdonian and also as a competitor
Yeah.
tonight, sometimes you have to throw all resources out of your mind when you're
Yeah.
playing, and you just have to go with whatever the situation is telling you to go with. You have to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And no book out there, even though there's tons of great resources for poker, and there's just no book that is going to be the end all be all. Do this at this time every time.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
just, play tonight. And I don't, this is my feeling. And maybe it's the jacket. I think you're going to place in the money tonight.
Shut up.
I'm not
Don't
even,
tell me that.
I'm telling you the truth. I think you're going to finish in a money spot.
Oh,
I'm predicting third.
Tim.
Yep.
Wow.
That would be a big start to
That
the
would
year.
be a big start, and I could use the cash.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
There's a reason you could use the cash. We'll get into that in
Yeah.
just a second. Tyler, I have a genuine question for you that I've been holding back. I've been wanting to ask you this for a while. There's a movie coming out called A Different Man. Is that right?
That's the
Yes.
one with Sebastian
That's
Stan.
the
You're
Sebastian
thinking
Stan
of
one.
Better Man.
Better Man.
Same
Yeah.
Oh
thing.
my gosh, I've already messed this up. Better Man, which is about a pop star,
Robbie Williams,
Robbie Williams.
not Robin Williams.
Correct, but he's a monkey, and so it's a singing,
What?
dancing, talking monkey.
So you see, EG, I'd love to hear your reaction on this. Robbie Williams, his idea is that he is not quite human. He doesn't seem as normal as the other people
Okay.
who get fame and fortune. So they depict him as a monkey.
Right.
Wait, what?
Yeah, well, that's pretty fair with sort of the premise we're throwing at you here. I am uh not looking forward to this one.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I just and I may walk out with a different sort of feel, but the premise alone makes me feel strange of this CGI monkey man
Ooh.
performing all over the world. It's almost as if Caesar from Planet of the Apes had chosen a different career route.
That is
And
what it looks like. It's the same sort of texture on his face.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm very much into the Planet of the Apes, and I loved the new trilogy for the most part. Hated the way they ended it, but I'm liking that they're bringing it back here with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'll review up on the channel if you haven't seen it. But I don't buy into this premise. It feels uncomfortable to me to watch the trailer. It's also coming out in early January, which is typically the smell of a dead fish. But it's from 2024,
Mhm.
so that means that it's not necessarily brand new, even though it's new to us. You're excited for this movie? Am I correct about that?
I I am. It fits that sort of niche biopic sort of interest of mine where I like seeing movies on people I know nothing about. I have not heard a Robbie Williams song, and I also like the idea of turning him into a monkey because not only is that just like haha funny monkey like all the monkey memes that go around, but it I think it's also a good way to show imposter syndrome.
Ooh.
Even when you attain that level of success, you still feel like you can't quite measure up.
You may be selling me on it, Tyler. You may be. What's up, EG?
2 things.
It's very
1,
British.
very British. 1,
Versus so much
I
other.
thought you don't like musicals or singing.
There's a difference.
There's a difference between a biopic and a musical, EG.
I thought any song or organized dance was a no.
I do believe this leans a little bit more into musical territory than it does traditional biopic. So to EG's point,
It
it,
does, yeah.
it's very much fantastical sort of sequences that seem like they're going to be a lot of exposition potentially in the songs themselves. I haven't seen the movie. You haven't seen the movie. There's a chance you see it tonight though, because there's a screen unseen happening at AMC. For those that are unaware, you pay $5, you go in, they don't tell you what movie you're seeing, but all you know is a general runtime, a rating that is legitimate, and the fact that it's a new movie that has not made its way to theaters yet. So it could be that tonight. Once again, Better Man is the name of the
Yes.
movie.
Better Man.
Okay, there we go. Uh, The Last Showgirl is a movie that also expands this week,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited about this one. I've told you I'm a sucker for Las Vegas movies, and this is Vegas through and through. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for this or how much digging you've done into this.
I've only seen the trailer.
Pamela Anderson stars in this. I've only seen the trailer too. She's getting a lot of awards hype. Didn't work out for her necessarily at the Golden Globes last night, which you would think if there was one that Pamela Anderson could potentially sneak by and win, it would have been the Golden Globes. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But I really like the trailer. It's got Batista in it as well. And I I'm looking forward to this. It's an hour and it's like an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, I love that.
It's like really short. Like
Okay.
an 85-minute movie.
I don't hate that.
I do like that because
So
I'm not terribly interested in the concept, so
really?
yeah, I'm not, like, dreading it like Wicked or something like that. I'm just indifferent. Like, it'll be one I go see. Hopefully, I like it.
I feel like it's gonna be good. Once again, you with Better Man, me with The Last Showgirl, we're gonna get these movies covered in one way or another, but it's good to see that we're sort of favoring the other, so that way we bring our intensity to those, reviews here on Meltdown Live. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Alright, EG,
Yes.
you have an eBay problem, a little bit from what I've heard. I wouldn't say problem, but
I mean, it could get there.
an eBay love affair
Yeah.
where, you know, every now and then you click on there just to see what's available.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you fall in love with an item, and then you get in the
The bidding wars.
bidding wars. I very rarely have done the bidding. Normally, I just do the buy it now
Okay.
because I don't like the emotional investment of I could possibly lose this because I'm a very competitive person.
Yes.
I did it once with a turntable, an Audio Technica turntable that was fantastic value, and I won it because I bid an odd, weird amount
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they couldn't predict. In the last second, they were trying to bid and they couldn't top it because they're like, "What did this crazy man bid?" And I won it by like 10 cents because I put in a weird
Yeah.
number. And I was really happy with that. It's been one of my best purchases on eBay. So sometimes you get those real wins.
Rushes.
Other times you can maybe get a little bit, oh, well, I'm not going to allow this other person to win. And I feel like you've fallen into that category.
Yeah, and eBay is new to me, actually. So I didn't really know the joys of this app until recently. Now it's become my most recommended app when I do my little slide down on my phone. It's like, where do you want to go first? eBay. And I was discussing this with Lionel pre-show. We have very little in common. However, one area that we overlap, eBay and eBay sellers and our love of the Japanese.
Out of
What a
context.
way to put that, EG. Japanese collectors will say,
Yeah.
I'm a big Supreme head, streetwear guy. So there's some overlap between that and the designer world. And
Yeah.
one thing that both collectors of designer stuff and of streetwear stuff have in common is going through archival stuff and trying to find that
Mhm.
perfect piece in good condition
Yep.
in your size. And Japanese sellers, they always have it in the best condition. And unlike American sellers, where we like to say, oh, this is like a 9 out of 10, when really it's more like a 7 or an 8, they will go the other way
Yes.
and undersell you on the condition. They'll be like, they'll do a letter grading
Yep.
system,
Yep.
and they'll be like, "Oh, this is like B quality,"
Yep.
and there will be the tiniest little snag in one of the
Yeah.
pockets. Perfect condition otherwise, though.
Yep. It's incredible, and they're so thorough. So my philosophy on designer goods is I was explaining to you pre-show, that I don't buy new designer goods post like 2007-ish. And the reason behind that is that a lot of these designer goods are poor quality. They're just not you're paying for crap. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah, y'all's intensity threw me off there because I've
Yeah,
never seen you guys so united as a force. Y'all should start a trivia team or something. It would be
maybe.
amazing.
Yeah.
Be amazing. Um, anyway, yeah. So you look for quality
Yep.
goods
Yep.
and you look to potentially win these
Yeah.
bids, but you know how it is at the end. I mean, it's just a
So, yes.
wave of let's throw money at it.
Yeah. I did some poker as well. Um,
I was gonna say, see, I was gonna say the exact same thing.
yeah.
When EG gets emotionally invested in a hand, like, no, this is my hand.
Yeah.
At that point, it matters very little about what the cards are in the middle
No.
of the table.
I'm
It's
like,
about, no, this is mine.
yeah, like willing the cards to be a certain way. So I was driving home from the basketball game on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa, and Mikey was driving, and I'm doing my little aimless scroll through the eBay channels. And why I also like the Japanese sellers is that the timing of everything is that you can bid on something and like it's so late at night that like a lot of people aren't up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So you can get some good deals. Well, I see this wallet, I'm debating, it's ending. So my problem was it wasn't necessarily like the cost of it that got me or like the bidding. It was like, oh, this is running out. Like I've got 3 minutes to bid. Do I want it? Do I want it? The last minute, literally the last second, I put in a number. Oh, I win. Yeah.
Oh, I win is normally not a good thing to say when it
Right.
comes to your eBay situation.
Right. So it'll be here next Friday. My dad will have to sign for it in Atlanta, and I'll show it to you guys.
Can't
So
wait. You will be at poker tonight?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. I
yeah.
was just making sure you hadn't.
Is it from a Japanese collector?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Next Friday. That's quick.
No. Okay, yeah. So my last bag that I got, it came within 4 days, express shipping, free shipping too.
Wow.
Pretty
Can't beat
crazy.
that.
No, you can't.
Okay. We'll keep you up to date on EG's eBay tips and
Escapades.
tips and tricks is what I was going with. Escapades is probably more riveting
Yeah.
when you put it that way. But we also have EG on an important sort of mission here to explain to us
Ah, yes.
exactly how everything trended with a win for Miss Alabama
Mm-hmm.
in the Miss America pageant.
Yes,
Tell me more, EG,
I
because
will.
this is something that's got a lot of Alabamians excited. The fact that this is a young girl from Vestavia Hills,
Yeah,
Alabama.
right around the corner. So her name is Abby Stockard, and she went to Auburn, your fellow alumna, and she was a Tiger Paw there. So she was on the dance team. And from the looks of it, obviously, when you're at the Miss America level, which is the peak of everything when it comes to pageants, you've been around it for basically your whole life. But what makes the Miss America pageant different is it's all scholarship based, right? So she's not winning $50,000. It's all going to scholarship of women's education, women's empowerment, and it's all funded by various organizations and sponsored by businesses, right? And so it runs fully on volunteers as well. And to compete in Miss America, you have to do the prelims of Miss Alabama. So there are local, regional, all of those kinds of pageants that go into even being able to obtain the title of Miss Alabama or Miss Georgia. Then you compete, and it's a week-long affair. I mean, it is so hard to win these things, and I don't say that lightly because the preparation that goes into it, the cause that you have to have, that's the biggest point of Miss America, is that Abby ran on a certain cause. Pretty sure hers is cystic fibrosis, so she'll work for the next year to bring awareness to CF, to work with, for example, she was with Governor Kay Ivey recently talking about some initiatives that she had for the state of Alabama. Now she gets to put that on the national scale and stage. She'll participate in different events, but the focal point really is charity work and whatever her cause is and putting initiatives towards that.
Well, it's super awesome that she ended up winning,
Mhm.
and she was as shocked as anybody,
Yes.
saying, quote, "This is insane. I don't know what I did to deserve this," saying that in a video posted on the organization's Instagram page. She's 22 years old and won the title of Miss
Yeah,
America on Sunday. E.g., you do a lot of interviews.
I do.
Is this one that you would have on your list?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
that would be pretty awesome.
That'd be so cool, and I actually have quite a few mutual friends with her because she was an Alpha Gamma at Auburn, and I know quite a few Alpha Gams, and I have heard incredible things about her. Like, insane. She is just the kindest, most genuine person. So, from the looks of it, it could not have happened to a better person. But I would love to sit down with her and chat about it all because I feel like in the recent years, the pageantry world has kind of, I don't wanna say lost its luster, but it's gone through a lot of changes with just the culture surrounding it, and so it's fun to kinda be back into things and see some excitement towards these women who work really, really hard and tirelessly to earn these titles.
And she's a nursing student
Yeah,
too.
mhm.
I have a lot of nurses within my family. Um, Tyler has nurses in his family, so I mean it's pretty awesome that
Yeah.
a nurse as well
Mhm.
winning Miss America. So very cool there. Appreciate that report, EV,
Yeah.
because I saw the news blurb last night, but I didn't have as much context, and now I feel like I know a whole lot more. So I appreciate that very much, and I know the Meltdown does as well. All of our proud Meltdonians. You know, one thing is, if you're gonna be Miss America, you're gonna have to have a big smile.
You are.
And if you want an award-winning smile, there's one group that I would recommend, and that is Alabama Dental Associates, located there on Grants Mill Road. Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan, providing you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health, whether you have that nagging toothache or you need to get on top of those regular cleanings with a schedule where they make sure that you are reminded of exactly when you need to be there. Maybe you're new in town, need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself. They are accepting new patients now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For years, I had anxiety about going to the dentist, and Alabama Dental Associates got me back in the game. They can do the same for you there. For more information or to make an appointment, call them 205 956 8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Tyler has got a chat check in for us. Tyler, what's going on there in Meldonia?
Jody says, according to the Golden Globes, I need to watch the Brutalist, and Emily Perez, or Amelia Perez, rather. It was misspelled in the chat. Sorry, Jody. Uh,
Jody, we're calling you out here in the chat to not only highlight your content, but to also disgrace you for putting Emily Perez. No, look,
More of absolving me from my mispronunciation. I should have worked on it like everybody at the Golden Globes last night.
that is correct.
That Amelia Perez.
You sound like Andy Kaufman when you do that. I don't know if you know that reference. Yeah, obviously you saw Saturday
Love
Night,
Anthony Kaufman.
but you sound just like Andy Kaufman when you say that. That movie is hot garbage. I hate that movie so much. Amelia Perez, I could not make my way through it. I couldn't give it a proper rating on Letterboxd because I couldn't finish it. And I
Yeah.
felt bad giving something a half star that I didn't even make it to the end to. But like,
But I also think if you can't make it to the end, in what world can you give it any more than one whole star?
no, you can't.
You
Yeah, you can't.
I do not recommend Amelia Perez. If you have not seen it
don't.
on Netflix, it's a rough watch.
So
And I'm
okay.
going to get into the Amelia Perez hype and why the Golden Globes, it
Yes,
was the
that's what I need to
dominant
know.
force. I will get into
Alright,
that
thank
here
you,
very
thank
soon.
you.
Anything else in the chat there that you need to get to?
Charles, talking about the Japanese collectors, he says, so completely opposite of the Chinese resellers on Amazon.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much. Don't buy from drop shippers. You're
No,
only gonna get the worst quality
it's
stuff.
scammed.
Yeah, you're gonna get scammed that way. Let's see. And Smuff wants to know why we're listening to a Russian spy talk about Miss America. Is
Ooh,
she a target?
yikes.
I don't think so. But
No.
your jacket, it kind of looks a little spyish, if I had to be honest.
No, you listen, one day you guys will know the truth.
Okay, I'm not touching that one. Let's move on here as we're going to get into a Meltdown Countdown. Now, I have sort of broken the rules of Meltdown Countdown because normally I try to leave it to about 5 or 6 things. I've got 10 things here.
Okay.
I got 10 things. These are my 10 winners and losers. It's really 20 things if you think about it, because I'm
Yeah.
doing winners and losers 10 times. So 10 times 2 is 20. So it's really 20 things here on Meltdown Countdown that I'm going to get to. But basically, I'm going to provide you a winner and a loser for each point here. These are not in any particular order,
Okay.
but these are just the winners and losers of last night at the Golden Globes. If you didn't watch the Golden Globes, I think you'll be okay. There's nothing that I'm going to go into here that's really too unique to the broadcast itself. And we're going to fill you in on maybe something you missed when it comes to these movies from 2024 that are now in the thick of things. Because I was telling Tyler this, I think there's a lot of people who aren't aware. I think a lot of the Meltdown is aware. The Golden Globes are a sham. I mean, they're really not that.
What a
Prestigious?
Yeah, well, they're not prestigious. They're kind of a joke. They're kind of a punchline. The top of the mountain is still the Academy Awards, still
Yeah.
the Oscar, right? If you win that, like that's a solidified, unapologetic sort of win of like, oh my gosh, you made it through every hurdle you needed to be able to climb that mountain. The Golden Globes is voted on by about 300 or so members of the Hollywood Foreign Press. And this is a group that tends to favor foreign performers because that's who they're really representing with a lot of their works. That's the audience they're representing as well. And they tend to be not the best precursor for what happens at the Academy Awards, which is voted on by the actual Academy of peers that make up a very select group of people who get to choose who is going to be the next one anointed to hold that golden statue. The Golden Globes are something that, you could use as a doorstop potentially one day. The awards, the wins don't matter. What makes the Golden Globes always interesting is the show,
Mhm.
the television spectacle of it, because it's always celebrities liquored up, kind of in weird settings where they're shoulder to shoulder. It's more casual. They're not in a theater, they're in like a ballroom, and some zany stuff can go off the rails. So it's really more like this could be a train wreck, tune in sort of situation. So that's what the Golden Globes typically is. Last year, it was a train wreck with the host, Joe Coy,
Oh.
Joe Coy, or whatever his name is. He butchered the opening monologue so bad he threw his writers under the bus while he was up on stage tanking, and then had half the monologue to still do, and said he was the only one who had written the funny ones that got laughs, and it was like really uncomfortable, and none of the jokes were funny. And he was like, "Look, I got hired for this last minute." It's all happening on stage, and you're like,
Ooh,
"Oh, this is bad." And it wasn't even like in a self-deprecating sort of way. It was in like
I'm frustrated.
I know that I'm failing miserably. I'm not getting laughs. How do I save it? Oh gosh, now I've gone in the blame game and I can't save it. And it was awful.
Mm.
Just really, really bad. Felt bad for him. It made me sweat watching it. I was cringing.
I'm hurting over here just hearing you
Same.
describe it.
Oh,
I mean, that's awful. The guy's apologizing for his performance while also throwing his writers under the bus
Hmm.
yeah.
while on stage.
Yeah, it was really bad. So
Ugh.
it was important that they got the hosting right this time. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But I want to start off with what I think is the real standout from last night's Golden Globes. Demi Moore was fantastic in her, not only her win for The Substance, but her acceptance speech put her over the top to where if there was any doubt about her getting an Oscar nomination before for Best Lead Actress, she's going to get one now
Oh yeah.
because the entire room was riveted. The entire country was riveted watching her speech about how she had been dismissed as a popcorn actress, and now she felt like she was really included in a group of performers that she felt like she could never stand toe to toe with. It was a really impressive speech. Tyler, I thought it was really the highlight of the night was her performance, her speech there in that setting, and it's a really good thing for fans of horror movies as well because they're so often just overlooked completely by these award shows, and for the Substance to be doing as well as it's doing right now goes to show just how quality of a film that is.
Absolutely. I mean, horror movies are always seen as like the cheapest genre you could ever make and not worthy of awards praise. And I think Demi Moore's speech really put it over the top because she's talking about, maybe I shouldn't even act anymore. Maybe I was just a popcorn actress, and then tries The Substance when that script comes across her desk. I mean, it's a beautiful story. It sounds like she's found her love of acting again through this movie and just through people actually looking at her and saying, "Yeah, you've got talent. You're not just a pretty face to look at in an action movie or something."
Bingo. She delivers a great performance, a very vulnerable performance, a very transparent performance, and she also had a great spot presenting with Margaret Qualley, where they were talking about what are you doing here? It's my week. No, it's my week. And that's a very much a riff off The Substance. If you've seen that movie, I thought it was very cleverly put together, very funny, almost feels like a sequel to The Substance in a way. And I love that they played off of one another. And Margaret Qualley did the lip thing that she's become famous for, where she bites one half of her lip, but she like did it overly dramatic, and I thought it was really funny. I thought that everything Demi Moore was a part of last night was a home run, and it's propelled her now to become a real contender for Best Actress at the Oscars. Even though, once again, the awards don't necessarily matter. What does matter about the Golden Globes is the campaigns for these films trying to earn up as much goodwill as possible from those within the Academy to win along the way. They're at the BAFTAs, which is basically the British Oscars, and the SAG Awards as well. These are the big ones going into the Oscars. We'll be keeping up with all of them and keeping you up to date with these campaigns. One campaign that I think has started to fizzle really quickly as soon as it started, basically, is Nicole Kidman. I thought she was a loser last night. Now, Baby Girl is a very divisive watch. There's a lot of people who were uncomfortable watching this film. The walkout ratio on this is relatively high, but there are other people who low key love it and think that it's really a good callback to a lot of these romance affair dramas that happened in the late 80s and early 90s.
My grandma asked me if she should go see it.
Tell her no.
Okay.
Tell her
Noted.
tell her no. EG, EG, EG. If you have to, like, I'll mute your microphone. You can call her right now and be like, if you're on your way to the theater, turn around because it will scar her for life. Do no. She does not need to see Baby.
We had this
Please no.
we had this conversation after. Now, okay, I also need to preface it. Both my grandmas are really cool. This one is very fabulous. I called her about the Chanel bag on eBay, and that was in the conversation that she was reassuring me, yes, you need to get the bag. Also, is Baby Girl good?
Okay. Tell her that you
Yeah, no,
I'm texting her now.
no.
tell her you work on an entertainment podcast and they're very concerned. And
Baby Girl is actually probably not a good movie to go see.
yes, that's going.
She would be scarred in that the way you would be scarred watching Terrifier.
Yeah. Yes.
Very
Probably so.
graphic,
Oh
apparently.
yeah. Yeah, very graphic, very uncomfortable. Opening 10 seconds. If you can make it through that, you know whether or not you're
Mhm.
Oh,
wanting to see
wow.
Baby Girl.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought Nicole Kidman, who's being championed, really, let's think about this, Tyler, okay? And we haven't talked about this, but Nicole Kidman is being championed for this role in Baby Girl because she's an older actress bearing all in this movie.
Ugh.
And that's exactly why Demi Moore is in the situation she's in too, but there's really only room for one spot of that this award season. They're both kind of getting lauded for being an older actress that's out there putting it all out there. And there's really only, once again, enough narrative for one of those to take the reins and run with it. And right now it's Demi Moore and not Nicole Kidman, which is why I paired them up.
Well, think back to the imagery and the substance. That is more likely to stick with you, even though Baby Girl is graphic. the substance is just more likely to stick with you because of how out there it
Right.
is and how well it executes its ideas in the first 2 acts of the movie.
I'm glad you brought that up. The Substance was about 30 minutes away from winning Best Picture potentially.
I agree. 1000%.
There's not a clear Best Picture winner right now. The Substance is getting all this momentum, but no one can really defend that third act for it to be Best Picture quality.
Mhm.
And if they take a different route with the third act, the movie could have won Best Picture. Like, that's how crucial of a misfire I think the third act of The Substance is. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about probably. All right,
Cole Cronenberg.
let me move on to number 2 here on this Meltdown Countdown. Winners and losers. A big winner last night. I thought, in my opinion, this is me, it's very subjective. I thought Nikki Glazer crushed it last night. Thought she was fantastic as the host. Once again, you're coming off of Joe Coy, who set the bar really low. But even then, you had like Michael Carmichael, or what is, I don't know. What's his name? Carmichael. Jeremy? No, I can't remember his first name. Carmichael. He's a comedian. He ended up
Jared Carmichael?
Jared Carmichael. Jared Carmichael 2 years ago had done the awards broadcast. It wasn't very good. Nikki Glazer was fantastic last night. She was just the right amount of sharp and witty and sort of blunt force with her jokes without being overly mean. It was this fine balance. She is most notably been a roast comic in her career,
Mhm.
but she's looking to shed that image and have that be a thing of the past, the whole roast comic thing. She had to beg Netflix. I say beg. She had to throw her hat in the ring for Netflix for the roast of Tom Brady, which is where most people have seen her most recently, because she was trying to get away from roast comedy, but figured she basically give it one more go. And she was great during that special on Netflix. She's looking to turn a new leaf, and I thought last night was a good step in that direction. E.g., you saw the
Yes,
opening monologue.
I did.
What'd you think of Nikki Glazer and her performance last night at the Golden Globes?
She came across very likable to me, and I've seen bits and pieces of her stuff, especially on social media circulating these last few months. And so I thought that the jokes were easily understood to an audience that may not be super invested in Hollywood like myself. And they cut deep enough to make you be like, "Oh, that one's gonna sting a little bit," but nothing that was incredibly uncomfortable or, just like,
Everyone, when they think of Golden Globes host, the first name that comes to mind is Ricky Gervais.
yep.
And he is
He's so good. I love Ricky Gervais.
so good. It's so entertainingly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And people want to see him back. Every year when the Golden Globes comes on, it's like, is Ricky Gervais hosting? No. Okay, well,
I
who?
think the people that attend the
Or like,
Golden Globes don't
get him
like
away.
Ricky Gervais hosting.
No, they
I
don't.
remember he opened the ceremony with, "All right, when you accept your award, thank your agent, thank your God, and then piss off.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next one."
That's pretty much it. I remember he had a joke about how, like, all of you stand up here and talk about your beliefs and all this stuff, but if ISIS started a streaming network, you'd all be begging for jobs or something. And it was like, oh
Whoa.
my gosh, this is so
Yeah.
intense the way he's going. But it's so funny watching how uncomfortable it is in the
Yeah.
room. And we're at a point now where jokes are looked at as violence, which I hate. I hate that
Mhm.
idea. Jokes are violence. And Ricky Gervais is just sort of not allowed back into that room again, I don't think.
That doesn't surprise me because I felt like his monologue, and again, that is on, I feel like, X, like, once a week I see a clip of it. But I felt like that was very breaking that, was it the fourth wall between, like, the audience and the people there? Because the audience watching that was like, "Wait a second,
Yeah.
like, I know what you're talking about,"
Yeah.
or,
It's
"We're on the same page here."
it's like when you tune in for a boxing match and they're actually throwing punches and you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I kinda like boxing."
Yes,
And then you watch
yes.
the next one and they're hugging the
And you're
whole
like,
time.
"This sucks."
Nikki Glazer did that right appropriate amount
Mhm.
of throwing a few jabs,
Yeah.
but drawing just enough of a reaction to make you go, "Okay, I see what she's doing here. She's trying to walk this fine line." What did you make of the popular music act? I actually thought it was quite funny.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was good. A lot of people, they're divided on that. I thought it was good. And, when she started singing Popular, I'm like, Tyler's either gonna be all in on this
Or like,
joke
"I hate Wicked even
or
more."
he's gonna have more wicked trauma in his
Yeah.
life, but
I
Anyway,
like Nikki Glazer, so it works.
so Nikki Glazer was a big hit there for host. I thought she would crush it. I thought she absolutely did. I thought she was fantastic. However, for the Golden Globes, this was a weak broadcast overall. You can tell that they haven't produced a lot of television broadcasts. The group that's running this now is the group that owns all the different trade publications, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, all that. And they're just not TV people. And you can tell by the way they had certain angles set up. You could tell by the way that they had a presentation of, there's a couple things. Number one, they had this picture in picture box where when they'd go through the nominees, they'd show them live, but also show where they were located within
Ooh, I
the
hate
room.
that.
Yeah, it was like the top down view of like a Mario Party map. Like it's like how far away is the star? Let me check. And it's like there it is.
Awful. Like, I don't know who signed
So
off.
dumb.
Like, it was really bad. Just show some clips.
Why do we need to know where they were?
There's no
I don't
reason.
know why I need to know what row they were in.
And it wasn't even riveting. They even got some of it wrong. Like they
Oh,
put up the
no.
wrong GPS pinpoint location. You're like, are they tracking these people? Obviously, they have the seating assignments and stuff, but it was just so unnecessary. And then, like, there would be some people that were so far away from the rest of them. You'd be like, okay, well, that person,
They're in the annex.
you know, they'd end up winning though, and it'd take them 5 hours to walk down to the stage. It was really poorly executed from a. There were no montages. There were very few clips of actual work because I guess they figured that would elongate it. They didn't play anybody off.
Oh, it's my
I
favorite
thought that
part.
they tried to play off Zoe Saldana, and she kept going on while the music was playing.
I never heard the music start while she was talking. On my end, I never
Oh.
heard the music start. They were trying. Don't. There's no doubt there was a please get her off the stage sort of thing.
She was going on.
Is she in Amelia?
She's in Amelia
Yeah, of
Perez.
course.
Yeah.
So
Lucky guess, right?
yeah, well, she is a great actress that has been
Mhm.
pigeonholed by sort of the Demi Moore effect of she can make money in big ensembles, but she can't be the star of her own thing. We'll get into that in just a second. But the broadcast choices were awful. Some of the angles, the timing of it all, as a television show, it didn't quite work. And the GPS of who's sitting where was the worst offense. All right, next, winners and losers. One of the big winners, and this is one that got me and Tyler very excited, Colin Farrell winning for The Penguin, and he plays Oz in The Penguin, not Oz in Wicked, very different.
Never mind.
Two totally different characters there, even though I would like to see Jeff Goldblum for some reason in Gotham City doing things. Yes. Yeah. I would like him to be kind of neurotically there, Jeff Goldblum, in this version of Gotham
Have
City.
you seen him do his magic tricks with rope?
I have not.
Look it up when we get done. It is one of the best videos ever. He likes to tie knots.
I really like Jeff Goldblum.
He's
And
entertaining.
this isn't about him though, but I liked that he was just sort of a presence there last night with those big glasses. But Colin Farrell, so deserved the award last night. I hope this propels him to the Emmys. The thing that confused me, this always confuses me, of what's eligible and what's not in TV for the Golden Globes and for the Emmys, because the Golden Globes nominates based on the yearly calendar. The Emmys nominate based on what number season a show is in.
Oh,
So the timeline of when things can be nominated and when they're not, and it's very all over the place. And last night you had some very old stuff and some very new stuff all sharing the same space, but Colin Farrell very deserving of that acting award. If you've seen him play the Penguin in that series and in the Matt Reeves 2022 Batman movie, he gets lost in the prosthetics. He made the joke that it's just prosthetics from this point forward. And you know what? It's
It
kind of funny.
works.
It works, but this is yet another actor who's won for a comic book performance. He joins the likes of Heath Ledger for the Joker in 2008, and he joins Joaquin Phoenix, who played the Joker in 2019. And one, there was some great jokes from Nikki Glazer about Joker 2 and why it didn't have a table there, which I thought was very funny. But Colin Farrell, very deserving there for the award for that HBO series, which will we get a season 2? Who knows? I just hope we see Oz sometime again soon because My big
2027 is too long.
my big loser following that is Matt Reeves' Batman universe. We've talked about this before, but it being postponed and it not being fully transparent why, other than the script's not ready. And the next dose of anything we're going to see with Matt Reeves' Batman universe is 2027,
Holy
potentially. It's just
cow.
too long. There's a Clayface thing in the works, but when is that going to be put out? I have no idea. There's nothing guaranteed for a set time of this is when we're going to see this thing. And all the momentum off the Penguin now is not going to be
Yes.
fully capitalized. I feel like that's a big loss.
Yes, I thought that hopefully the Penguin would carry the momentum all the way up to the release of the Batman Part 2. But that's not happening. Instead, the momentum is going to rumors that Robert Pattinson will be joining the DCU. I've been seeing more and more leakers say this, but there's no official word on it, even though James Gunn has adamantly, vehemently denied this.
In the past, but I feel like he's warming up to it. I don't know. I feel like he's warming up to it. That's the vibe I get.
We'll see.
When y'all said 2027, I was like, oh my gosh, that's in like a million years. No, it's not.
I thought you were going to say Amelia Perez again,
Really,
but you didn't.
no.
Okay, I'm going to move on to this. Okay, Tyler, hear me out. The Brutalist is a big winner from last night.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
If this doesn't build your hype to see The Brutalist, then their marketing strategy has failed. I think it's a brilliant marketing strategy of keep it as limited as they possibly can, build up all this awards hype and acclaim, and then start to sort of push it out there. But it is a travesty that we are in a situation where The Brutalist wins all these awards. Tyler's a gigantic film fan. I'm a gigantic film fan, and we can't go see this thing. We can't see it anywhere. It's in 8 theaters across the country.
8?
Just
Yes.
8.
8.
In states that we're not even close to. So it's in 8 theaters across the country. It's making bukus of money in those 8 theaters.
Which is crazy because it's a 4-hour movie, so you can't have nearly as many showings of that as you can of like a Moana 2.
Yeah, and if you don't remember that, I think it's Kevin Eubanks was his name. That was the narrator last night during the Golden Globes. Another horrible decision. I don't know why they're having factoids and narration of all these.
Yeah, there were like little fun facts of everybody as they were walking up.
Nicolas
And
Cage has a pet crow in a biodome somewhere or something.
none of them were related to the show, the award, the category, no nothing.
Hated it.
So dumb.
It's so dumb. But one thing that they mentioned was The Brutalist has a built-in intermission because it's nearly 3.5, 4 hours long, whatever it is.
AMC lists the runtime at 3 hours 55.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that is, and that's because 20 minutes of that is an intermission, or 15 minutes of that is an
Okay.
intermission.
I was thinking it was that 3:55
No.
plus the intermission.
so what do? Just sit in the theater and just twiddle your thumbs?
Go to the bathroom, you go get a snack.
Popcorn.
I love the idea of the intermission, by the way.
I love it too.
Okay, you do too.
Yeah.
So, like, let me tell you, I'm hyped for The Brutalist. And part of it is not genuine. Part of it is by their marketing strategy.
Okay,
Their marketing strategy is working on me.
tell me more.
Well, The Brutalist, you can't see it anywhere. It's the buzz of the town. It's now propelling itself to being that, like, potentially top tier Oscar contender. We're in a weak field of 2024, in my opinion, where there's no clear front runner. I have not yet seen The Brutalist. I may hate it, but I'm going in rooting for it. I'm going in like, take me somewhere for 4 hours, and I want an experience. And you know what? I want it to be so good, I want to go see it again. That's how good I want it to be.
I'm hoping for the same thing.
And I'm hyped for it. I'm really excited about it. I've been looking more into the story and the motivations behind how it became crafted. And it's like it took like $11 million to make. It's already made back like $1 million in 8 theaters, which is really good. It's going to make money. The director getting on stage saying, you know, I was told this would never work, and here it is working. Yes and no. We don't know for sure if it's working because it hasn't expanded past 8 theaters. So don't be going on there, you know, taking a full victory lap. Plus, you ain't won the Oscar yet. So, I mean,
he already picked up Best Director at Golden Globes.
pump the brakes a little bit because once general audiences see it, that's when we'll know whether or not it's really got the legs to become a Best Picture front runner. But it was a huge win last night for The Brutalist. Adrian Brody was fantastic on stage. They completely dominated the night in almost every way. I think they won 3 awards last night. On the other end of the spectrum, Wicked. The wind is no longer in Wicked's sails right now.
Mm.
If there's anything that Wicked was really going to compete in, it was the Golden Globes, because the jokes about the awards not having much weight are valid, and you would think a
So
performer
the awards defy gravity.
they do.
Wow.
That movie's hurt Tyler in
It
ways.
I am traumatized by that movie.
It's laughing through the
You're
pain.
not dancing through life.
You guys are really on top of
We
it today.
are.
I would say I was going to give you guys a cookie, but we need to keep our fortune cookie stash here very populated. Popular. It's
Popular.
not really there. Anyway,
Uh,
Wicked last night didn't win. I don't think no, it won one award. It won the box office award, basically. It won the Achievement in Cinema award, which
Yeah.
is like,
Participation trophy.
how do we give a dumb movie an award that people like will
Mm.
tune in to watch and root for, but we're not going to really give it a real award? Think about it. Golden Globe awards aren't worth anything much anyway.
Right.
Now we're going to create a faker Golden Globe award
Oh,
that
no.
just draws people to the television audience. The top trend on X last night in the United States was the Golden Globe. So they're doing something right by bringing in like Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, all these Wicked fans. But Wicked didn't win anything of substance, no pun intended. They didn't win anything that mattered.
It didn't even win in the musical category.
It didn't win in the comedy or musical category. It didn't do
But that also
anything.
includes horror, apparently. So
Obviously. It didn't do anything to push the needle for Wicked having a true Oscars chance. And it is now turned into a movie that's much like Barbie. A lot of people showed up to see it. It was an event for primarily a female audience to show up and have a really good time and bring all their girlfriends out. And it pushed it in the box office, but it didn't push it enough in the artistic community to now propel it to a real strong Oscar chance. So Wicked last night, it was a big loss for that team and production. However, they're rolling in cash. It just hit digital on the 31st of
Oh, yeah.
December, and the movie's making tons of money, and
Eh.
it'll, boo-hoo, go cry in all of your dollars. It's like the Woody Harrelson gif from Zombieland or whatever when he's crying into all of his money. I think it's Zombieland.
I think it's Zombieland.
Speaking of Zombieland, winners and losers last night, I'm going to give all these at the same time, both of these. Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg. Kieran Culkin, the big winner out of a movie that Tyler and I both adore called A Real Pain. If you haven't seen it, I think it made both of our top 10 lists for best movies of 2024.
It did.
And we love this movie. It's really good if you're in the right headspace for it. And it's very subtle in its approach, and we can't champion this movie enough. It was written and directed, and it stars Jesse Eisenberg. However, the reason he's on the loser category of this is because Kieran Culkin is basically getting the same results that his character in the movie gets, which is he can walk in and charm the pants off of anybody and get all the acclaim for Jesse Eisenberg being the planner, Jesse Eisenberg being the guy who's like the crafter of this whole thing, and Kieran Culkin's using it as a vehicle to basically be on if there's anybody right now that feels like the biggest lock at the Oscars, it's Kieran Culkin winning for A Real Pain. Be a shock if he doesn't win. All award season, at the BAFTAs, at the SAG Awards, you're going to see Kieran Culkin racking up all these awards. He's already won Emmys and everything for Succession, and now he's on this second life cinematically, where I feel bad for Jesse Eisenberg because all the reports were these two did not get along. On set, Kieran Culkin was like late to showing up. He was right there when he needed to be and just sort of showed up and was perfect. And Jesse Eisenberg hasn't denied that, but these two didn't get along very well. And Kieran Culkin did the smart thing last night in his acceptance speech and shouted
him
out
and said, "What a great writer!
Yep.
What a great performer! What a great guy Jesse Eisenberg is."
Does any part of this make you sort of like feel oddly torn about Kieran Culkin winning all these awards? Because you're such a huge Jesse Eisenberg fan.
I am, but I mean, I would have loved to see him win as well. But the thing about Kieran Culkin, and I think this is why Kieran Culkin will be a lock for the Oscars, he's just so charming and so personable. Any interview you see, any speech you see, he's very informal, just, hey, what's up, you guys? Like, you already know each other. And that's how he was in Real Pain. Um, he's just too likable to not win it at this point, or for me to be like, oh, I hope he loses. Because I enjoy all of his performances and I enjoy his public persona.
The only thing that can derail Kieran Culkin at this point is scandal.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, I was thinking the same thing. The only thing that can stop him is himself.
And I know he's got a team behind him that said, make sure when you get up there, the only thing that's sort of like potentially plaguing you is all these reports about you and Jesse Eisenberg not necessarily being as friendly as everyone would like you to be. So get on there and sing his praises. And he did just that. And I swear it was a great move that someone like a Roman Roy would have gotten that advice to do in succession. And then it cuts to Jeremy Strong right after he's done getting his award. And Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin have been beefing publicly a little bit, with Kieran Culkin saying, hey, dude, it's not that serious. And Jeremy Strong being very much a method actor who does not break characters. And it cuts to Jeremy Strong and he looks almost annoyed that Kieran Culkin's up there winning. And it was very, for Succession fans, I mean, like you could read the body language there. It was interesting. And Jeremy Strong, I don't know what he was wearing. He looked like
He looked
LL
like
Cool J.
I was gonna say Jamiroquai.
Okay. Yeah, it was an interesting
He
choice
had
there.
the largest bucket hat you've ever seen.
Yeah, and it was like a pastel
Yeah, it was
green
like
color or something. I don't know. It was interesting.
wild.
Okay, gonna move on to this. Couple of S's here. I like the alliteration of pairing these up. So we got SS and SS. Do you know what those two are going to be?
I'm gonna guess one is Sydney Sweeney.
That is incorrect,
Oh, dang
but
it.
that's a great guess. Sebastian Stan
Oh yeah.
and Sing Sing. So let me explain. Your winner last night is Sebastian Stan. Your loser last night is Sing Sing. The marketing strategy that they have for the Brutalist right now is exactly what they should have done with Sing Sing. I'd have held it back. Nobody sees it. Build up the buzz. Put it in 6 theaters. Build up an appetite for it to where this is a powerhouse performance, because it is. Sing Sing is so interesting to me because it's very strong film.
Yeah.
I don't love it as much as Tyler does, but it's got a great performance from Coleman Domingo. I mean, a
Fantastic.
5-star performance from Coleman Domingo.
Absolutely.
Nobody's seen this thing.
Yeah.
And they're
Like I said the other week, it's like just having a few people try to start the wave at a football game.
Oh no.
We're rolling it out to 2 theaters at a time. It's not gonna build any true buzz.
But this is why I pair him up. Sebastian Stan was in 2 movies that nobody else has seen.
Yeah, The
Mm.
Apprentice, which I believe was nominated in one of the categories, didn't win, and then A Different Man, which did win.
So, did A Different Man win something?
Yes.
Oh, I honestly didn't know that it had won anything as a film. I thought it
Oh,
had.
well, I meant Sebastian
Sebastian
Stan
Stan.
for
Sorry.
his role
Sorry,
in
you're
A
right.
Different Man.
You're right. You're exactly right. I'm sorry about that. But Sebastian Stan, am I right or wrong that he actually won for The Apprentice? Didn't he win for The Apprentice?
No, best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy.
Oh.
Sebastian Stan, A Different Man. The other nominees were Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain, Hugh Grant for Heretic, Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night, Jesse Plemons for Kinds of Kindness, Glenn Powell for Hitman, and Sebastian Stan. Well, that's the one who
He
won.
was a double nominee.
No. I was. It had a list of nominees
Yeah.
and the winner at the top, and I read the winner and then all the nominees.
But I think he was a double nominee. I think he was he nominated in the other categories, what I'm saying?
In one of the other categories, it was either him or Jeremy Strong.
Okay. Anyway, the point I'm getting to, this is as confusing as it can be, is nobody really knows anything about Sebastian Stan because nobody really saw him this year perform, even though
Sebastian Stan was nominated for drama.
he
Lost
was.
to Adrian Brody.
He was nominated in the drama and in the comedy musical category. But he had a heck of a year, and he's been able to really propel himself from superhero world to dramatic actor world, being in these small movies that nobody's seen. But for some reason, he's getting all this acclaim in being in movies that people have not paid a ticket to go witness. But Coleman Domingo is that, he's on the sidelines there going like, man, I gave maybe the performance of my career, and Sing Sing, the marketing for that movie has been so awful. They're trying their hardest to get another push by re-releasing it here in January, but I feel like it's going to fall flat on its face. I don't feel like it's going to do well, this Sing Sing re-release, because right now all the buzz in the world surrounding The Brutalist and not Sing Sing for people who want to see January movies that are going to have a pulse in Oscar season. All right, really quickly, Shogun and Baby Reindeer, big winners last night. On the other end, the loser, Only Murders in the Building, which everyone seems to love, but it can't win any awards whatsoever. Shogun, you've seen most of the season, is that correct?
I still haven't finished it. The last episode's like 2 hours long, and I just haven't sat down to watch it. It's a great show though. Hiroyuki Sanada won best lead actor in a dramatic TV performance. And then who are the other people that won? Gosh, I'm blanking on their names right
There
now.
were 3 acting
Uh,
awards given for Shogun last night, and every single one of
Anna
them,
Sawai, and where is it Tadanobu Asano?
he was very excited to win. He gave
Oh,
one
he gave a great speech.
probably my second favorite speech of the night behind Demi Moore, but he was just like, "Thank you. This means everything. This is wonderful. I love this. This makes me feel special," and it was great. It was like, one of your eBay sellers or something trying to give you something. He was very proud of the mint condition of it. But he was very excited. And Shogun and Baby Reindeer have dominated the award seasons, and they continue to rack up all the awards. Mostly, Only Murders in the Building continues to get nominated, but it's just a fan favorite darling. Can't win any awards. All right. Zoe Saldana is a big winner last night, performing in Amelia Perez, which I don't recommend. But Zoe Saldana had sort of um, I don't know, a speech that was very much like Demi Moore of like, I feel like I belong now. It didn't hit maybe quite as hard, but she's being propelled as a potential real candidate for a award at the Oscars. While on the other end, the losing side is Nora, which didn't win a single award last night.
Absolute travesty, in my opinion.
I don't think Nora plays to the Hollywood Foreign Press the way that maybe it'll play to the other awards ceremonies that are going to be happening here, but there's no doubt last night was a huge hit to Anora, where nothing was done to raise the profile on that film, and no one's talking about Anora today compared to a week ago, where it felt like there was a big wave of support for that film. I still feel like right now it's the Brutalist versus Anora more than it's the Brutalist versus Amelia Perez. I feel like Amelia Perez, the steam is going to
There's no way that artificial hype for Amelia Perez continues through Oscar season.
What else is Zoe in?
Avatar, Marvel,
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Mm,
all the big Marvel movies, the Avatar movies.
okay.
Trying to think about what else Zoe
Saldana.
Saldana has been in that pops off right top of mind here, but those for sure. Big
Special
blockbusters.
Ops Lioness. That series, I think it's on like Amazon Prime or something. She was in the Star Trek 2009
Oh yeah,
reboot.
she was in the Star Trek movies.
And let's see, anything else?
She's looked at as a blockbuster ensemble actress.
She was in Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl.
She may have been, but it wasn't a big role, I guess. But she may have been. But
There we
anyway,
go.
her stock has risen for sure. All right, next. Winner, The Rock. Loser, Vin Diesel. I will explain here. The Rock needs a comeback tour. 2025 is going to provide that for him. He is going to have a very serious role with Benny Safdie's next project here, where he plays a mixed martial arts wrestler figure. I think he's going to sink his teeth into that role, and he's going to be great. It was on my most anticipated list of 2025. Make sure you check that list out here on our YouTube page. And Vin Diesel, the big loser, because he was on stage last night. He shouted out The Rock. They hate each other.
Yeah, I knew there was a little tiff there.
They may have patched things up a little bit, but last night felt like it was maybe picking apart the wound that had healed a little bit. Vin Diesel looked kind of uncomfortable on stage. I don't know. It was like, it was awkward. He just looked smushed. I don't know what the
Mm.
word is that I'm looking for. Maybe it's just he's aged a little bit, and he just didn't look happy to really be there. He says, "What's up, Dwayne?" And it's like it was like intimidating. And The Rock was given one of those like EG smiles where it's like, "Okay, you really messed up, but I'm gonna smile through it,
Mhm.
so that way I can like I'll make you're gonna remember this later that you
Yeah.
did this." And I feel like it was one of those situations where
Interesting.
The Rock was like, I'm gonna put this away and I'm gonna get my revenge. And then when Wicked won box office cinematic achievement or whatever, he like scoffed and like made a bunch of weird faces before he read the winner. Like
Uh,
yeah, it's like if Tyler was opening the envelope. So like Vin Diesel opens the envelope for cinematic achievement,
he's like,
and he's like, "Oh man, okay,
Oh,
well,
oh, this movie achieved a bunch.
ugh."
"Oh, no."
Like he made it about him rather than about the. And that was another big loss for Wicked is that Vin Diesel obviously
I did not like it.
like I want to see Vin Diesel and Tyler go to see Wicked together. Would you go see Wicked again if it was with Vin Diesel and you could do an out of the theater reaction with him?
I mean, if it's with Vin Diesel, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask him about family.
Vin Diesel, I believe, did mention something about family on the stage last night. I don't know. Maybe I misremember that. But another reason The Rock is the big winner is because Raw debuts on Netflix tonight,
Yes.
and it's going to be huge. They already put out what the cold open's going to be, and I was watching this, getting all hyped up. I've sent it to Ush. He said it's really good. They excel at this kind of thing. And then Brian Pavlik sent me 2 paragraphs, maybe 5 paragraphs, um, and he production wise, it's amazing. This is fun to watch. However, what was the goal of this intro? If it was to the past, this is as awesome as a 3-minute recap as I've ever seen about history. However, the title talks about being in it being a cold intro for Netflix. What in this production either got you excited about Netflix, showcased the future of wrestling, or told you what exactly was happening starting tonight? So it's one of those interesting dilemmas where if you're asking me about the quality and the production, it's amazing, but I don't know what it's supposed to do specifically for Raw on Netflix. And so he's a little bit half and half on it. I think it's a great intro into this new era of wrestling. I think The Rock is going to be a part of tonight's broadcast, and he's going to come across as the big winner, keeping his foot in both arenas, professional wrestling and in the movie business, doing more grounded work, which I think we all want to see. And last but not least, my last winner, my last loser. Winner Nosferatu, loser a complete unknown. Let me explain. Nosferatu didn't feel like it needed awards pushes in order to connect with audiences, even though it's artsy. And they decided to go full out strategy of not really trying to appeal to an audience that didn't care about it. A Complete Unknown has been weird in its marketing, where Timothy Chalamet is trying to connect with young people to go see A Complete
Yep.
Unknown. A Complete Unknown is maybe the oldest movie of the year when it comes to its subject matter.
He
Like,
was on Theo Vaughn's podcast last week trying to promote the movie, and I was just trying to think, like, how many people that actively listen to Theo Vaughn's podcast also listen to Bob Dylan?
right.
Like, if they know Timothy Chalamet from anything, it's probably Dune.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet has this tough task of truly loving Bob Dylan. Like
Yeah.
it's you can tell the love that he has, but also trying to get other 20 somethings to care about Bob Dylan. And it's not working.
No.
And so they decided, well, let's go the route of we'll be very transparent with going on these younger podcast platforms like a Theo Vaughn. We'll also go on College Game Day to promote it.
Yep.
And we'll try to connect to those audiences to come out and rush out to see this artistic look at Bob Dylan's early career. And it's not working in that marketing strategy. So they also tried to do the half and half of like, we also want to be an awards darling because Timothy Chalamet, his performance is supposedly so riveting that it's going to push us over in both categories. We'll have the general population through all these, other mediums that young people connect to, and then we'll also have the awards push. And neither one of them are working. The Golden Globes last night, I mean, Timothy Chalamet was mentioned a lot as sort of like a punchline to a joke, not like in a mean spirited way,
But
but in like a culturally significant way. But A Complete Unknown, the work itself was not awarded anything. and fell flat on its face last night. And meanwhile, Nosferatu, which didn't get any nominations last night, didn't need them because it is connecting with audiences, delivering exactly, unapologetically what it is
It
to.
continues to sell out around here, Tim. I check the times because I want to go see it again, and every time I check, it says for that 7 o'clock, 7:45 time, right around that good movie going spot, it'll say almost full or sold out.
And that's a good thing for cinema. Nosferatu remained in the number 3 spot after opening up on Christmas Day. A Complete Unknown also opened up on Christmas Day, and Nosferatu only dropped 39%. Now, A Complete Unknown only dropped 30%, but if you look at the age demographic that's going to go see it, it's all much, much
Yeah.
older. And that's a trouble for that movie. And it's a trouble for its awards hopes because they needed this to be a hit with general audiences. And so far, it has not been. So far, it has been very small crowds. But if your grandmother's going to go see a movie, tell her go see a Complete Unknown
I
instead of Baby Girl.
I recommended that to her as well. She was more a girl, but I did text her. She said, "Thanks for the tip. I won't go see it." Heart, heart.
Yeah, it would. I just think it would be an uncomfortable watch for her.
Yeah.
I mean, unless she's just like, I just feel a little inspired today. You know,
Eh.
I don't think that that's going to be the cup of tea that she's looking for. All right, so those are my winners and losers from the Golden Globes. Nosferatu a winner because Golden Globes to be a talking point still. It is doing really well at the theater. Mufasa and Sonic 3 continue to battle it out. We've got our versus video up here on the channel, but right now Mufasa sort of having some longer legs than I thought it would and retaking that top spot here in the country. Last week it was number 2, now it's number 1. Is it made just $2 million more than Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but they're kind of benefiting from the competition between each other. But globally, Mufasa, the stronger picture right now,
Oh yeah.
even though culturally, I just don't think Mufasa has anything to it that feels significant. And I was rooting for that film. It feels sort of hollow narratively.
I think the Sonic movies are a bit more niche than just a Disney musical, because that's how you got to look at it. A Disney musical; those are always global successes.
Typically, typically. 7, the re-release didn't even make the top 10. It was in 200 theaters. They should have had way more theaters than that.
I mean, I would have just taken it in regular digital. It didn't have to be IMAX.
Yeah. Any sort of re-release
Yeah.
of that, Tyler's there. He didn't have a chance to even see it. Warner Brothers with this release strategy, I guess, is just to build hype for the 4K. Like we're going to deprive you of seeing it in
It's
theaters
just another misstep in the journey of Warner Brothers.
and theatrical exhibition
Yeah.
because you have something where you're like, okay, people can get excited about this, then they have no option to go see it. And so 7, not even cracking the top 10, not even cracking $1 million there in its re-release, but you know, the appetite for it was huge. It had a great per theater average, but couldn't see it anywhere. So that was very frustrating, I'm sure, for Tyler. Hey, one place where you can see all the action, that is mybookie.ag. Make sure you head over there, use promo code NEXTROUND for that first time deposit bonus where you can bet and play absolutely anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Join the family for daily odds boosts, same game parlays, and super contests there. EG. All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun. EG, I will see you later tonight at poker.
Yes.
I'm thinking, I don't,
Ugh.
top 3. Top
Okay.
3. I'm thinking you're going to be a 4th tonight.
Pressure is a privilege.
It's been a long break. You've had a lot of time to study. Are you bringing the card guard?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got it in my bag right now,
There
actually.
you go. Good luck token there. Tyler, going to the movies tonight to see it.
Green unseen, hoping it turns out to be something I'm not interested in. Then
Take a nap.
I might just take a nap. EG, that is a good idea.
We will see what Tyler ended up in tomorrow here live on the show, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Thank you for being there in the chat for us all day long. We appreciate it if you like and subscribe.